All right, man, so today we got a point guard guide. For the people out there aspiring to be one of the best point guards in the game, this video will definitely help you out. I have made some videos giving y'all some tips. It was just a few tips to make you a little bit better, but hopefully the goal of this video is to make you a lot better by telling you everything you're supposed to do as a point guard. So let's go ahead and get to it. So first thing we're going to discuss, what is your job? First off, your first and most important job is to pass the ball. Very important that you pass the ball, man, because first off, very difficult to intercept a pass from a point guard. Second off, point guards give the most bonus accuracy in the game, so make sure y'all keep that in mind. So when you're passing the ball, you want to make sure that you're being efficient with your passes. What does it mean to be efficient with your passes? That means you want to get those passes to your teammates on time, man. Your Camille's at the three-point line, and there's someone that's kind of close to him, but not close enough to contest him. If you go ahead and pass to him and he does a flash shot, if you do a dribble move, or you get bumped, or you do a pump fake, gonna be very difficult to get that pass over there in time, man. Very important that y'all remember to avoid using dribble moves when you're playing point guard, because you cannot pass during a dribble move. Very important that you avoid getting bumped, because once again, you cannot pass the ball while you are getting bumped. And last, you don't want to use pump fakes, man, because if you do a pump fake, that's going to give the defender time to catch up to the person that's wide open. So make sure y'all keep that in mind as well. Don't use dribble moves, avoid getting bumped, and do not use pump fakes. You want to get those passes there on time. Definitely make sure you're avoiding those three things. Another one of your jobs is to learn as many plays as you can. Please, man, if you're a point guard, you know 1 or 2 plays. That is not enough, because when you switch up the play, it's going to switch up the pace. And when you switch up the pace, it's going to throw the opposing team off. So if you're playing with a team, well, not if you're playing with a team, but make sure you have a team that also knows the several plays that you know. You'll be able to effectively switch up the pace. So let's talk about a few strategies that I like to use, especially when I'm teamed up with Rock, because me and Rock, we know just about the same amount of strategies. We play together so much, man. So first strategy, we're going to talk about pass back. So with the pass back strategy, first and foremost, you want to have someone on your team with a flash shot. Think Ayumi, think Fire King, think Katiusha, and literally every single small forward, they all have a flash shot. And one thing these characters all have in common is that they're all good with the pass back strategy. How does this strategy work? The person that's shooting the ball, they're going to have the ball most of the time. So you're going to be passing to them. They're going to throw a pump fake up there. They're going to pass to you. Then you're going to pass it back. They're going to do their thing, throw a pump fake up there, pass to you, you pass it back. That's basically the strategy, man. And you want to make sure you're being efficient with those passes, because if they lose their defender, you want to get that pass over there on time. So the next strategy we'll be talking about is pick and roll. This is a very old and very basic play that a lot of people have used, and it's also one of the easiest ones to learn. So when it comes down to pick and roll, you want to be behind that screen, and once the person setting the screen for you screens your defender off, they leave the area in the opposite direction that you're going in, and at that point, you just go ahead and hit them with a pass. Once again, don't do a pump fake first. You're just giving the defenders time to catch up to them. Don't do a dribble move while you're behind that screen, because if they screen your defender off and they run away, that's just giving defenders time to catch up to them. And also, avoid getting bumped. You want to get that pass over there on time, man. So third strategy we'll be talking about is ISO dunker. This is similar to pick and roll, except there are some slight differences. Well, I'm not going to say slight difference. There's actually some big differences. The only thing they have in common is that you, as the point guard, will be at the three-point line with the ball receiving a screen. If your big manages to pull the other big out there and keep them out of the paint, and how do they actually achieve that? You got to make sure you have a point guard that can shoot. Think Jackie, think Justin, think Nana. Pretty sure those are all the ones that specialize in actually scoring. But Yui is also a spectacular three-point shooter with a spectacular shooting speed. So Yui can be used inside this strategy as well. And she also has an alley 3 for some added utility. So when it comes down to the ISO dunker strat, once again, your big is going to be setting a screen for you at the three-point line. The instant that they screen off your defender, one of two things are going to happen. First thing that's going to happen, the big on the other team is going to make sure they stay out there and avoid giving you 3 free and easy points. The second thing that might happen is that the big goes inside the paint because they're so afraid of giving your team 2 free and easy points that they will literally give you 3. So make sure y'all keep that in mind, man. ISO dunker, very meta right now because dunkers are very meta right now. And last strategy strategy we'll be talking about is off-ball screen strategies. The most common one that I see is with Camille. So at the start of the play, like during the countdown, Camille will run to the right, point guard runs to the left, and Big runs to the right with Camille. They both pretend like they're gonna go inside the mid-range area, and then Emma sets a screen. Camille dashes through that screen to the three-point line, and they get 3 free and easy points. You can also do this with someone like Fire King hiding behind a screen, especially if you got a Yui on your team. Fire King's behind that screen. The instant that your Big screens off their defenders or puts enough space in between them, you go ahead and hit them with an alley three, man. They will not be able to stop that Fire King from shooting that ball. So those are 4 very common strategies. Also, 4 very powerful strategies. Make sure you're switching it up between these if one does not work against the opposing team. So your second job is to dive. Very important to dive, man. Why is diving important? Diving is important because you get extra opportunities to score. For example, think about dunk strats. You got that Pinky or that Zachary on your team, and they end up not having a Big Mike or a Daisuke to guarantee that when they block that dunk, they force a turnover. So they don't have Big Mike, they don't have Daisuke. Dive is extremely important because they can go ahead and just safely dunk that ball. And if they end up getting blocked, you can literally immediately dive on top of that. And what does that mean? Your possession continues and you're getting extra opportunity for them to dunk that ball. So make sure y'all keep that in mind. If you're playing point guard, very, very important that you learn how to dive on top of blocks. It is basically one of the easiest ways to pick that ball back up and continue your possession. So the second reason why dive is important is because it can guarantee a turnover in most cases. Let's say your partner is guarding his man and then he ends up blocking his shot. You can literally just dive on top of that block, man, and force a turnover. There won't be much that anyone can really do about it, especially if the other team does not have a dive. You're basically guaranteed to get those turnovers, man. So what is your third job? Your third job, this might be number 3, man, but it is very important that you are able to identify a mismatch. What is a mismatch? There are 2 types that I know of personally. First type is a power mismatch. What is a power mismatch? That is when someone on your team has more power than someone on the other team, or someone on the other team has more power than someone on your team. They're going to be at an obvious mismatch. So let's go ahead and throw an example up there. Let's say there's a Daisuke in the paint and there's a Big O guarding him. That is an enormous power mismatch. Big O cannot stop Daisuke from dunking that ball. So if you're at the 3-point line and you see your Daisuke inside the paint, your shooter's not able to get open and score, you're not able to get open and score, just go ahead and hit the person in the paint with a power mismatch. They will not be able to stop them. Another really good example, we're going to use small forwards for this one. You got to Havoc G on your team and there's a Camille in there guarding him. Just go ahead and hit your Havoc G if the Big's not in there, man. That is an enormous power mismatch, and you need to be able to identify these. If you're not able to identify them, go ahead and check out my power rankings video and the power stat breakdown. That will definitely tell you which characters have low power stats, which ones have high power stats, which ones specialize in blocking those dunks, and which ones will definitely struggle to block them. So the second type of mismatch that I know of is a speed mismatch. What is a speed mismatch? It is when someone has a much better speed stat than someone else. So let's get another example up there. In this example, we're going to be using Camille being guarded by Havoc G. Yeah, man, see how we flip that around? So Havoc G guarding Camille, going to be very difficult for Havoc G to actually keep up with him because Havoc G has one of the lowest speed stats in the game. Right next to someone like Julian, he's closer to someone like Big Mike than he is to someone like Greta. Make sure y'all keep that in mind. You see a Havoc G guarding your Camille, and he does a pump fake and he dashes away. That Havoc G will not be able to catch up to that Camille by the time he shoots that ball. All right, so last, before we wrap this video up, we're going to talk about important abilities. First most important ability is dive. Definitely the absolute most important ability inside your kit. Make sure you max this out the second you get the opportunity, man. This should be the very first ability you max out on any point guard. Don't max out your, not your staples, but your exclusives first. Max out your dive. Very important ability inside a game like this. So the second ability that's very important is bounce pass. Now, in the past, when I first started playing point guard, I wasn't unlocking this because I wanted to save some energy gel. But as I started playing more and more point guard and I got more and more of my passes intercepted, I went ahead and unlocked my bounce pass and maxed it out so that I can give my teammates 5% extra accuracy, plus what I'm giving them from my pass stat. You definitely need to make sure you max out your bounce pass. So third important ability is pinpoint pass. pinpoint pass, similar to bounce pass, cannot be intercepted, but there's a difference between these two. The pinpoint pass can go way across the court. On top of that, it's much faster. And then, if it wasn't good enough already, it can't be intercepted. So if you have a character that's using pinpoint pass, make sure you max that out, especially if you're using May and you got the level 4. Max out that pinpoint pass, man. Avoid those intercepts. Get that ball over there as fast as you can and get those free points by boosting your teammates' accuracy. The last ability that is very important for point guards is quick fill in. It's very important, man, because like I said before during the ISO dunker section of this video, the bigs are going to be out there setting the screen for their point guard while their dunker is inside the paint. Quick fill in can literally thin out your body. So let's say Emma's setting the screen. She's standing left and right. You're able to use a quick fill in, turn your body sideways, and avoid that screen. On top of that, if someone does a dribble move and you're expecting a crisscross, but they go ahead and start shooting while you're standing still, you can do a quick fill in to quickly get over there and contest that shot. So all right, man, that's just about cover everything. Just make sure you keep in mind when you're playing point guard, these things are extremely important. If you have to come back to this video, man, come back to it as often as you have to. That's it. Now catch you on the next one.